Yeah, buddy, we be livin' and thriving.
What's up? What's up?
Big love and respect out there in YouTube world. Tonight we have quite a few wonderful uh, images, ideas, concepts to share and proliferate into the ether. Thank you for your patience, everybody. And Chris, thank you for coming along for the ride tonight, my friend.
Man.
Say that again. My signal's sketchy.
Yeah, mine's been doing the same thing. So that might be another. I said I'm sorry I'm late. Thank you for having me. But yeah, if the signal goes in and out, it might be me too because for some reason Spectrum's being weird.
Big time.
It's being super sketch.
Yep. All the motherships are floating around, chopping up the airwaves. Dude, we're color coordinated. Check us out. We're rocking the
that maroon, right?
Yeah, man.
Nice, man. Nice.
All right. I see Stacy Sunshine in the chat and Zephyr Avoxel. Wow, what a great name.
I can't even see the chat right now because I didn't log in on StreamYard and I don't want to try to do it because it's going to bump me out of here if I do. I already know it's going to do that. So for now, I'm going to leave it off.
Got the tech pixies are always at it. James Kaplan up in here. Yes, I'm late. You are so correct.
I'm late, not Gabe.
When Belphegor hangs out in your bathroom, that tends to be the way of things. Big love, James. Glad you made it, my friend. Yeah. Whew, what a bunch of hullabaloo.
Dude.
So much hullabaloo.
So much. So,
I use the word hullabaloo very intentionally. The head priest of the, what did they call it? The Raelians? No. It's the head priest of the Baha'i. His name is a very easy two-letter switch out from the word hullabaloo. And so whenever all this crazy stuff goes on and all the circulated weaponized doubt, I just think, there's another one goes on to the Baha'i. Another
almost reminds me of Ron. Isn't it Ron L. Hubbard? There's probably Hubbaloo in there. Yeah.
Big time. Yeah, L. Ron Hubbard's first name is Lafayette. That's what the L stands for. Yeah. And anybody who's into like the treasure hunters circuits, the name Lafayette is like a treasure hunter's name. It's a pirate name.
Yeah, and it's a Louisiana-based name too, right?
Yeah. Big time. You got it. Yep. Yeah, Lafayette. Those guys were big into the treasure hunting and the treasure hiding.
There's a lot of pirate symbolism roaming around the ether right now.
Right on. Yeah, that's so true. I see Zaralath in the house. Big love, Z. Much respect. If anybody missed the last show over on Zaralath Immortal, please go enrich your life. What are you doing? How could you miss it? We had a great show. Zaralath invited Robert Phoenix on again. It's actually the second time the three of us got together, and Robert Phoenix blew my mind right out the gates. It's like the first thing he started talking about. And
I saw you guys did a great job.
Okay, good deal. You saw it.
Okay. It was really good. Yeah. Good job, Zaralath. You too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, big love, Z. Big love to Robert Phoenix. What a powerhouse. What a total powerhouse. I just want to maybe forward some of the treasures from that conversation onto this conversation tonight. Because Robert Phoenix has pointed out that the three outer planets are in a very, I'm going to call it precarious position, as they have completed their placement back into what I'm calling battle stations. So he tells us that, and a lot of people are aware, that Pluto has returned from the founding of the nation, 248-year cycle, and it has come back around, and Pluto is in the same place that it was when the Revolutionary Wars popped off.
Yeah, it's a
So
real son of a B for people born my year too. For or at least I don't know. Well, actually, it might be the whole millennial generation, right? Isn't it like
probably,
yeah? Because
yeah,
I'm 87, and now Pluto is in its for the next 20 or whatever, however many years.
that's
Yeah,
right. Yeah, and yeah, for Pluto to be in Aquarius, Pluto is it means the tiller, the plotter, the steersman. It's also the controller. Has a lot to do with kybernetes, is the Greek word for government, and so kybernetis or kyber
cybernetics.
something like that. It's basically cybernetics.
Yeah,
Yeah, basically. But yeah, it just entered into Aquarius, which is an air element, but I like to think of it as an ether element more so, and electricity as well. So it is in its battle station from the Revolutionary War. Neptune being in Pisces is correspondent to the Civil War. Yep, to the Civil War. And Uranus up here in Taurus is exactly where it was when World War II was popping off. And so when he mentioned that those three are in their battle stations, I kind of had a little mental conniption fit because, and he doesn't, Robert does astronomy and astrology.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
looking at the stars. He doesn't do the Enneagram. So I had to kind of relay his system through my system. And when I do that, Neptune is in the 3, Uranus is in the 6, Pluto is in the number 9. The 3 outer planets.
I think the signal just went out again, brother.
There we go. Wow.
You're back. Yeah. Oh,
That was
good. So we I lost you at three outer planets.
okay. Yeah. The 3 outer planets that are the 3, 6, 9 and the Enneagram are in their battle positions. And also, just a quick note on the periodic table, which I actually found my loose copy of the periodic table. Pluto and Neptune and Uranus are sequential. Uranus is number 92, Neptune is 93, plutonium. I'm sorry. Uranium, Neptunium, and plutonium are 92, 93, 94. And something that just kind of catches my eye is that Promethium is on top of the sequence. Like they're right here. And there's Prometheus, number 61, just sitting at the top center of
And
those two.
you know who's been pushing Prometheanism as a new form of I guess like uh, unified religion for us all in the age of Aquarius. Yeah, what's his name?
Jason Rizzo Giorgiani.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And I love Jason. I love Jason, but he is totally way over anybody's pay grade. Way over anybody's pay grade. He is an asset of the highest order. Yeah.
I mean, at least he switched a little bit out of the Satanism into he must. I almost felt like he like heard something you might have said at one point because you've been harping on it the most, and he was like, "I got to change up the branding of this just a little bit."
Well, maybe he let Ammon Hillman pick up the Satan
Yeah, yeah,
vibe,
yeah.
and
For
then
real.
yeah, and so he's on to the Promethean vibe. But Rizzo Giorgiani, his cover art of one of his most recent books, I think it's called. Oh, I always screw it up. The Fourth Way of the Future. I forget. The cover art is totally got jellyfish on it, and
Yeah,
jellyfish
yeah, yeah.
and jellyfish is Lady Frida Harris's code name. And the cover art is actually depicting some of the tarot work. And so he's got the jellyfish on his cover. And then the other fella who gets people's hackles up in the political arena is Alexander Dugin, and his middle name is Jellyfish.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
It's Jellyfish. So
Jelly
there's
was
there's
yeah, a little bit of
plausible
a different.
right. A lot of people get caught up in plausible deniability, and I think it would enrich their life to embrace plausible reliability. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah. And then on Dugan's cover art, which is totally emperor carded out, like we got Giorgiani is the Empress card. Dugan's cover art is the card, but on the Emperor card has an orange on his knee. So in his cover art is depicting Jason Rizza Giorgiani with the orange on the knee. And so they're handling each other. But I don't even have to go into all that creative, artistic correspondences because they both rely on Arctos. They both get their work printed by Arctos Press. So I always thought it would be really cool if I found out that Hillman was also in bed with Arctos Press, but I haven't found those receipts just yet.
I thought I saw something with Hillman and Giorgiani recently together, but I'm not sure. Maybe I was just seeing them interviewed on the same channel, like back to back.
Yeah,
or were they working together? They were, right?
I don't know if they work together, but they're just 1 degree away from each other through Gnostic Informant and a lot of that.
Yeah, I thought I saw them on a podcast with each other, but I might have been mistaken. I might be mistaken.
Yes. Big love. I see Jenny G in the house. So much love, Jen. So much love. Oh, I love that you're here. I just want to hug you. And Lucy Rose, greetings. Welcome.
Hello, hello.
Yeah. So the 3 planets are in battle stations. They happen to click into the 369 of the Enneagram. The acronym CFR, Council of Foreign Relations, is a 3, a 6, and a 9, as well as the Committee of the Round Table. I'm pretty sure it's Committee of the Round Table or something starts with a C. Committee, Council, maybe Council of the Round Table,
Might be.
It's also a COR equals 3, 6, and 9. And so these guys are on the Tesla tip. They are on the Tesla tip. Let's say it like that.
And the weird thing is, about that Tesla quote is that apparently Tesla never said that, which is the weirdest thing.
Totally.
And I'm like, what? So who said it? Like,
Right.
Why is that there? I mean, I feel like that just connects to the whole AI matrix age that we're kind of entering.
Yes. Oh, that's great. I just got a voice message from Chance, but I'll listen to that afterwards. All right. I'm going to do a little screen share. And also, Chris, I want to thread through so many of those links you were sharing with me.
I went on a tangent this morning with JFK stuff because of his wife, because of I didn't know her last name. I didn't know that was the last name she had changed it to, and that wasn't her actual last name either. I mean, she has her own separate last name. It's like Bouvray or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. My God, when you see that Onassis connection, like, you can literally, if you wanted to, you could make a argument that every single plane crash and fake death that could have possibly been faked would have easily been a possible fake or a possible setup in the other direction, where it was totally a setup and not an accident, because they're all owners of all these huge airports and plane companies. It's like ridiculous.
Buddy, I am sitting on a huge share for you. When I was going through the links you sent me, I was like, I bet he doesn't know about this conspiracy theory just yet. And I didn't want to say, I want to save it for the show. So yeah, I want to get into some of those threads that you were pulling on and I think I know where.
And then the island of Scorpios. I started hearing one conspiracy about someone being held on the island for I think Tori Says was getting into that today again on her podcast, and she was actually implicating Jackie as being partially responsible or in on the whole plot with Kennedy. And I'm just like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. Isn't it so profound that everybody's looking to the government to give them the JFK files, and just in stride with them looking to the government to do it, we're actually digging up all these threads that were they were right there all along.
Yeah.
They're there for the picking. People just aren't making the connections.
There's so much there. Also, just the names of Socrates, Onassis, Aristotle, Onassis, and every single. I think one was Aphrodite. One was what was the other one? Astarte or Ashit. I can't remember the other one now. There was like 5 or 6 different names that were all Greek gods and goddesses. I'm like, is this the original Greek story that we're actually getting?
Right. And that's kind of something that I stay, well, I focus on the Greeks. I focus on the Greeks because, while the Abrahamics are kind of pointing fingers at each other like the Spider-Man meme, I'm looking at the Greeks and I'm like, they just don't call themselves a church. And then you realize that all the universities are,
Yeah. This is what we were talking about the last time. It is like everything is hidden within this like grimoire of the Greeks that gets passed down generation to generation, and hidden within the universities and hidden in all of our systems that we still use today. But we all will blame Rome.
right. Yep. Totally. Totally. And that's a funny thing too. Like when I hear the word Rome, I know that there were many derivations of what that word means, but everybody's mind goes to Italy,
Yeah.
appropriately so. But I always have to point at Spain. I'm always like, don't forget that Spain was like the central hub to a large degree
Yeah.
of a certain time in Roman history.
And it's always left out. You're right. 100% left out. And just like the Greeks are always left out. And the story about the Greeks makes no sense with Rome, how they're conquered by Rome, even though they're more advanced than the Romans and more sophisticated than the Romans, but they're conquered by the Romans, and they just seem to antiquate themselves perfectly into Roman society and
Yeah.
not lose their culture.
Yep. Yep.
It's bizarre.
It is super bizarre. Big love to Moonfeather. Hello, Moonfeather. I see you. And Paula D's in the house. Much love and respect, Paula D. Here, let me do my little comment show. I just learned how to do this. Aristotle Onassis, the shipping magnate.
But these are the merchants, the mercantile class. It seems that's what it seems like. It's not just Onassis; it's also the other side of the family. Exactly. It's like Nachios or something like that. I have to look up the last name because I forgot it already.
Paula D. Big love, Slick. Thanks for pointing out the connections. Absolutely. Yeah, it is so fascinating that it was here all along. We're just gaining context. And PK really enriched me when he told me that the word context actually means weave. And we talk about weaving all left and right in our community. So yeah, I think that's really it recontextualizes what we were doing.
That's awesome. I didn't know that either.
Yeah. It's really something. And it becomes quite the tapestry of high significance. Let's see. Big love, Edward. Yeah, big love and respect, Edward. And here's somebody new. DWS, all roads lead to Rome, to such an extent that they allegedly put cement in the fuel tanks that sent the rockets to the moon, so that the fuel was leaving pavement that was running on pavement. And even that goes to Rome. And then also all the spies in the UK, all of them, they all end up retiring on the North Shore of Jamaica. I have a list somewhere of these list of spies and children's authors. And they all invest heavily into the gypsum market. And thereby,
of course they do.
Yep. So that all of the pavement and all of the cement that makes all the roads across the country, as they're glad circle jerking each other on the North Shores.
Well, no, it's interesting when 2020 started, Bill Gates had just did this with his foundation where they were publicly involved, and it was like the only public lawsuit they'd ever been involved in one of their investment companies. And what that company did was make materials to build hospitals.
Yeah. Yeah. More Knights Templar stations.
These are the builders, man. They invest in building materials, roads and hospitals and places of worship, everything you can think of.
Take a little trip with me. Big respect, man. Yeah, I don't like to compete with Ken Wheeler. That breaks my own heart a little bit. But
Oh,
he's
I didn't know we're on the same time. I love Ken. He's a good
yeah,
guy.
he's brilliant. Uh, his name is like a gematological magic show.
Mm-hmm.
It's like almost all fives across the board. Ken Wheeler. It's a great name. Let's see. Yeah. All right. All right. So, uh, screen share. Hang in there with us while we ho hum a little. Just a brief.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna grab another drink really fast. Another one of my yerba mate teas. 1 second.
Right on, buddy. All right. Just a second of tunnel vision, and we're in. Welcome to the Slick Dissident Gallery, my menagerie of thoughts and ideas. This is an old one, but a good one. Shel Silverstein, Where the Sidewalk Ends, is packed full of prophecy. I don't know where my copy is, but he has a poem in there about. He has a lot of poems in there that seem to have been predictively programming the future to such a degree that you almost think these fools do have some kind of crystal ball that they can see these things coming. But it's satisfying to me that they're just inside baseball, that they're just constantly signaling and hailing to each other so that only those with the eyes can see.
Hey, who is this? Was this from?
This is Shel Silverstein, Where the Sidewalk Ends. And I'm gonna go ahead and read it. So the top poem is, they've put a brazier on the camel. And just for more context, the Giving Tree Shel Silverstein book was the halo over the head of George Bush on 9/11. It was backlighting him with the book by Shel Silverstein, The Giving Tree, as he's sitting there with those kids. So the poem goes, they've put a brazier on the camel. She wasn't dressed proper, you know. They've put a brazier on the camel so her humps wouldn't show. They're making other respectable plans. They're even insisting the pigs should wear pants. They'll dress up the ducks if we give them a chance, since they've put a brazier on the camel. They put a brazier on the camel. They claim she's more decent that way. They've put a brazier on the camel. The camel had nothing to say. They squeezed her into it. I'll never know how. They say she looks more respectable now. Lord knows what they've got in mind for the cow. They put a brazier on the camel. And then this one down here freaks me out. Let's see. Something missing. I remember I put on my socks. I remember I put on my shoes. I remember I put on my tie that was painted in beautiful purple blues. I remember to put on my coat. I look perfectly grand at this dance. Yet I feel there is something missing. I may have forgot. What is it? What is it? It's Mike Pants. He forgot Mike Pants.
Oh my god!
So I put
Where's that fly artwork come from too?
the fly.
Yeah, is that just did you put that in separately? Just because that'd be very random if it was with the poem.
No, yeah, no, that's me putting. Yeah,
Okay.
this is me collaging what the poem inspires in my thoughts.
Yeah.
But that fly on Mike Pants's head, dude. Every pair of pants you've ever wore have a fly on them.
Yeah. Oh, good call.
It's yeah.
Wow, I wasn't even thinking about that. That's actually, and he's not the only one though who had that, right? Wasn't there one other person this happened to? Jen's the redhead.
Pizzacchi, circle back Pizzacchi, Pisces.
Well, she
Pisces
said,
Pizzacchi.
I don't know if she had the fly land on her. There was a fly that landed on someone else, but she started saying spot a fly. The next, like right after that, when saying Joe Rogan had a Spotify contract,
Wow.
and she didn't. I don't even know if she did it on purpose or not. It didn't sound like she did. It sounded like she just messed up.
Right, right. That is something. This is just I was going to share this with Tamunculus because he did his 100 episode and they were talking about Mickey Mouse. Archimedes crater is probably the biggest crater that we think of when we think of craters on the moon. And it's parallel to Plato's crater. And this is just the theory that the Mickey Mouse three dots, the three circles of the Mickey Mouse shape, could actually be hailing to some of the shapes of the moon on the subconscious. And, you know, I got a theory that Archimedes actually did build a legitimate laser beam, and maybe he was blasting holes and putting his imprint on humanity on the moon.
Well, there is a lot of. Isn't there a lot of artwork with him where he has like a almost like a large magnifying glass, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And he's on the island of Sicily. Sicily should be called Sussily. It yeah. And there's something that's the other thing. Allegedly, all of the initial probes that landed on the moon, it almost looks like they were aiming for Archimedes' crater. If you map where they tell us that these probes landed, it's as though they were trying to disturb his circle. And that's his final words before he dies is, do not disturb my circles, Roman.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
And then I shared this on one of my recent videos, but the auto pin is in the most simple gematria. It equals 92, and that is uranium. Uranium is number 6 on the Enneagram, and there's always an aspect of invisibility around the number 6. There's something very sophisticated in its camouflage. And so when I look at the auto pin and it's 92, 92 is uranium, and they're going to disappear all of the things he wrote with the auto pin, allegedly. It just tells me that they're on script, you know, for the psychological operations.
100%. 100%. I mean, we got a little Pisces in there too, huh?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting. There's, I mean, the double, because that like Pisces are the feet, so you also have double there. It just it's a doubles all around.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is a double the pleasure to deceive the deceiver. A couple Machiavelli quotes here, but Machiavelli's work has been referred to as his enterprise. That's kind of the inside baseball, wink, wink, nudge, nudge for the Machiavellians. And so when they call the Star Trek Enterprise that name, it's kind of a hail to Machiavelli, who prefers to operate in equity. He stays where he cannot be touched. He's off the stage. He's unseen. He's just pulling the strings.
Oh, you know what's interesting about auto pen? You think of AU to pen, like the Austrian Union to Pennsylvania.
What? Oh my God. Wow. Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing. I was thinking of like ought to open, you know, like open sesame. Yeah, you got it. You got it. So this is a graphic. I kind of talked about this on my channel recently, but I was really stoked to share with, hold on, I'm going to stop sharing just for a second. I was really stoked to share with Robert Phoenix how much, let's see, one second, how much the Ophiuchus constellation is anatomically flawless as a representation of the capsule landing. So this is Ophiuchus proper. It's just the actual dude stepping off of the elliptic plane, but he's surrounded by these snakes. And this is Serpens caput and Serpens coda. And it just looks so much like that capsule. And the Serpens caput and coda look just like the parachutes detaching.
Which that video is suspect as hell.
Big time. The fucking dolphins show up. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all.
As soon as I saw the like, I mean, and this is this SpaceX, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Yeah, their videos have a real weird look to them all the time. Now I've been noticing, like, I've run a bunch of them through AI, a bunch of screenshots of them through AI to see what the AI says. AI says they're all mostly AI.
Wow.
So even like
Wow.
the faces of some of the astronauts will come back as, especially the one from New Jersey who was the first billionaire non government astronaut to do the spacewalk. I don't know if he was the one still one of the ones still up there or not. He was the captain of that one mission, and he did that weird supposedly spacewalk where he comes out looking like a puppet. I put his face, just his Wikipedia face, straight through AI, and it was like 70 or 80% fake, made generated by AI is what I got back. So I'm like, I have no idea what's going on here.
That is fascinating. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the moon was actually over Ophiuchus when the splashdown happened. And on the territories map, not only was it over Ophiuchus, it was also over Florida in right on the line of Tallahassee. Like it just maps out so perfectly on my territories that the moon was in that position that day. Um, and then let me see. I'm going to go back to present and we're just going to dig back in and it's so weird. Oh, I got to say one more thing. So that graphic I was sharing with Cobra, what's her name? Here we go. Is that coming through?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I had just watched analysis on GI Joe, and I was learning about the Baroness. That's this female nemesis character here, and she is the love interest of Destro. And I was just kind of picking up on these random characters I never thought of when I was a child. And then the day after I made this video about Baroness, uh, Robert Phoenix tells us that it is Baron Trump's birthday on the right there on the equinox time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was
What?
it was crazy. I forget exactly what day. It's either the 20th, 22nd, somewhere between 20th and today. But yeah, the Baron's birthday, and I had already made my video about the Baroness. And then in the global territories map.
March 20th.
Okay, thank you. Yep. 320. Okay. So yeah, in the global territories map, the hangman card is not only Florida in the Bermuda Triangle, all of the Caribbean islands, but on the global map, it's actually Australia is the man down under, the hanged man down under. And this right there around that time, they had the mysterious sea foam was making the surfers sick, and there's this person clinging to a rock. I bet this whole thing is bullshit. This is totally AI art right here, but the shape of the rock is the shape of the landing pad. And then yeah, this is all in my video. That the on the day of the eclipse on day before Pi Day, that one racetrack star clubs the other racetrack star on the back of the head. Back of the head is the symbol on the moon card, Kopf. And then the next day, Chump gets eclipsed by a boom mic. Well, that's the other glyph on the sun card is Resh.
Oh, when you brought this up, because I haven't seen the video of this yet, but I saw you cover this, and right when you did, I was gonna bring it up next time we spoke. So perfect time is now.
Yeah.
I was wondering what you thought the difference or the relationship between this boom event and the one with Biden was, where he goes through it.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll tell you, emotionally or psychologically, maybe, it is really telling that Biden goes right through the mic, ghost in a ghostly fashion, and he's oblivious to it even happening. And so he doesn't even acknowledge the whatever the faux pas, because it's AI. It's generated after the fact, right? But in this case, it's almost like it's like
Well, this could be even AI too, if the mic's not really there.
if it could have been, it could have been. But I would say it's almost like they're telling us they're signaling that Chump is the real deal.
Yeah,
He's the real McCoy. He's
not a hologram.
not a hologram, right? Totally. But then it dawned on me also that this is a kiss of betrayal, right? Much like Judas Iscariot kissing the Christ on the cheek. Also, the mic is eclipsing his face. But what was really crazy to contemplate is how the boom mic usually hangs from above in most theater,
Hmm.
just like the scorpion's tail hangs from above. And so it is very correspondent to the kiss of betrayal.
Yep. Yep. I mean, oh, so much with Scorpios now coming in with the island of Scorpios. Here we go.
Right, man. Right. Yes.
Even these colors, like the black and red that keeps coming up with this and the Baroness. I mean, this all connects to a bunch of the stuff I'd posted about the Golden Dawn, like the group, the Golden Dawn, that's in Greek, in the Greece, in the country of Greece. It was, I don't know if it was a party or a, it seems like it was more of a party than actually an occult fraternity that they had out there. And they
Right.
have this gold and blue, or it's red and black, like these colors.
Yeah.
Same with the that Muslim organization that had the philosophy of MIB, that made the Piper jets that well, John F. Kennedy Jr.
Yeah.
supposedly went down in while flying.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And, I want to not fail to mention that one of Crowley's first abbeys, I think he called it an abbey, his first cult was based out of Sicily.
Yeah, the one he got kicked out of, apparently.
Yep. Yep.
Because someone died there. I think it was a overdose or something. I don't even think it was intentional on anyone's part. I think they were just partying too hard.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So let's see. This is just more of the same. Zizian Death Cult is totally the Viper Assassination Death Squad. And this was this kind of still fascinates me, how the fidelity of the headlines are best exemplified by the fiction of cinema. But then it wasn't until eclipse season hit, and by the way, that was a lunar standstill. That was actually a prolonged eclipse. That eclipse was very significant. We've essentially tilled the soil. We've turned up the old and brought forth the new, because it is the end of an 18.6 annual cycle for lunar standstills. So we've started a new clock on the lunar standstill, and lunar standstills and eclipses are signified by the cobra symbol on the hood of the snake. And so it's kind of making a lot of sense to me why there's so much cobra symbolism. And yeah, these Zizians are no exception.
Yeah, and I remember, is this where I started bringing up, because of the pyramid thing too, how there's like there's a lot of flooding symbolism that's starting to happen in the lunar standstill. I believe happens before floods in history, at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, the lunar standstill is renowned for bringing on dangerous flooding levels, increased flood zones. And so Elon Musk's crack team of 6 baby-faced engineers, I think they're totally the Cobra Kai team.
Cobra Kai. What was the one's name that got kicked out and then he got brought back? I mean, I know you don't have to say it if it's too inappropriate. I can't remember what the hell it was, but they kept saying it on the news, and it was one of the most ridiculous, just pieces of news I've ever seen. He had like a really offensive name.
Really?
Yeah, that was like, does anyone in the chat know what it was? It was like my balls or something like that. So the news, they have this woman presenting the news story, and she keeps going, Doge had to fire my balls, or like whatever it was. It was something like that. And they just all kept saying it. And I was like, this is so absurd, because it was when they were rehiring the guy.
Oh my gosh. I tell you what, there's something about knowing that the jesters are behind everything that almost ruins the joke. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, that is funny. Oh, but these guys are diabolical assholes. So it's funny in a sick way. But I think that Baron just turned 19 years old. I believe.
Yeah.
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 Okay. So 19 is the eighth prime number. This character looks a lot like the Mohawk dude from the Cobra Kai. And number 8 on the Enneagram is a controller or a domineer with the shadow of lust and the remedial virtue of sympathy.
Oh, you know what's interesting about you bringing up that character specifically?
What's
is,
that?
is his lip, because he has that scar on his lip, like on the. It's the same thing that what's his name, Joaquin Phoenix, who plays the Emperor in Gladiator, the first
Dude.
Gladiator has.
Yes, and it's also the guy that shot Chump had a hair lip.
Really, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It kind of looked like I don't know, like they were broadcasting the next herpes outbreak, and a crazy little whatever split lip. So this one I talked about on my channel. This is with Lucy Liu, and she chops the head off of this Yakuza dude. Very correspondent to the dynamics of Massey from Kentucky.
I was gonna say this Massey guy's been coming up nonstop with right, and with going back and forth with T-Man.
Right.
Yeah. Is that him in the lower left corner? Because I was going to say it looks like him. I just don't remember what the hell he looks like.
Yes.
That's him. Okay.
And it's kind of fascinating to me when I look up images of Massey. I'm not cherry picking to find just one picture of him in this is called the ennui pose. When you put your hand on your head, it signifies boredom, but it also signifies you got other plans. It also means like you're not down with what everybody's thinking about doing it here in the moment. You're thinking about going home or doing something else later. And so I actually found many pictures of Massey in the position of ennui, meaning he has other plans or he's daydreaming. And that's actually part of this guy's whole shtick in the scene when he gets his head chopped.
I don't mean to be doing the same thing if I'm touching my chin. It's just because I do it when I'm on camera sometimes. I just realized I'm like, oh, what am I doing?
No, don't even think about it, buddy. Ever since I learned that some of the Greeks, they actually thought that stroking your beard was the equivalent of public masturbation. I do not let that stop me.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane because they'll say, some of them will think that, well, then they'll also have a little boy toy who they go home and tutor at the same time. So totally. they could F off.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, so these are just some of the graphics from the videos, most recent Slick videos. Here's Destro hugging on Baroness on an Egyptian skiff. And I'm looking at Cobra Commander in a new light. For one, this symbol on his head is very correspondent to like the Eye of Sauron and some of the symbolism around Aquarius.
That's like the Anubis ears that are on the ship in iPeco 2 that the Christ figure is on. It's on the front of the ship, which there's that. It looks just like the ship you have in the upper.
Yep.
Just with the Anubis character on the front.
Home run, buddy. Home run. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Saturn is.
Shoot, I hope that's not me.
It's quite a long time. Uh-oh. Am I sketching out? Am I good? Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You're back now.
Okay, yeah. So Saturn is exalted in Aquarius. Saturn just passed through the water from the jug that Aquarius is pouring out.
Okay.
I'm back. Okay.
I got that. So Saturn just passed through the jug.
Yes, the pouring out of the jug of Gnosis in Aquarius. Saturn just got baptized like a car wash and went through the stream of the jug just these past few years. So yeah, I'm looking at, by the way, Saturn and Anubis, if anybody wants to get in your Gematrinator and look at how the word Saturn and Anubis, I believe in ordinal reduced gematria, is the exact same numbers. They're the exact same numbers. They're not even, they're just rearranged. So, yeah, Saturn and Anubis are deeply correspondent in so many ways.
That's interesting because Anubis is like really supposed to be serious.
Oh, yeah, yeah, the dog star. Yeah.
Oh
It'll
wow,
be,
yeah.
it's interesting. Makes me want to look at it. Yeah, to check the schedule and see when Saturn was last in. I guess that's kind of Gemini. Uh, yeah, Sirius is a Gemini. The Canis Major and Minor are Gemini minor decans. And dude, how about this thing? Did you see this? The
Is this
sound
when?
weapon?
Yeah, yeah. I remember when you posted this, and I think I posted something too after you posted it regarding it. That oh yeah, I said this is the banshee that we talked about, the screaming
Yeah,
banshee.
you
Yeah.
got it, man. And big love to James Kaplan out there. I just want to make a public service announcement for the Slick Dissident community. Anytime you hear me say Serbia or Siberia, definitely test me, bro, because I get those two switched all the time. I'm constantly talking about Serbia when I really mean Siberia and vice versa.
I get it mixed up too. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But what is kind of a fascinating touch point between the two, while they're so far away from each other, is that the subject matter at hand has much to do with directed energy. So Siberia is about to acquire the magnetic North Pole proper officially. It's going on the books. And Tesla he's on the $100 bill of Siberia. And
Hmm.
so the energy has been redirected to Siberia. And then in the headlines, in Serbia, these people get hit with a directed energy weapon. Thousands of people in the streets protesting because an awning had collapsed. And the numbers from the injuries and deaths, it all plots out to a 3 people injured, four.
You still with
Okay.
us? What happened?
Yeah.
There you go. You're back
Sorry,
now.
sorry about that, y'all.
All good. All
Yeah.
good.
So those statistics, 3 injured, 14 dead, and one person dies 5 days after injury. That's spelling out the number of pi all the way down to the fourth decimal.
Wow. Yeah.
Three,
No, you're right.
3, 1, 4, 1, 5. It's such a trip. So yeah, they were hit with the frenzies during a moment of silence. And so Dionysus is presenced by uncanny silence. And Wotan's name is Frenzy, and he's riding on the horse. It's the Great Hunt. And people actually described it as a bunch of men on horses approaching.
Yeah, they definitely got hit with something, and it's interesting too because I could almost guarantee that it was one of the sounds that can only be heard by a certain age group. Which is like if it's certain if it's a certain wavelength and it's high, it's like too high, then the old elderly can't hear it. So if you're over 35 or something, you're not supposed to be able to hear it. Some people can, but most won't.
Wow, you almost got me to spit take. That is great. That was perfect. Yeah, it's really fascinating how, and of course, Serbia gets absolved. They have clean hands because it was probably the Five Eyes that committed the crime. So they can say we didn't do it; it was somebody else, and that's because that's all part of the shell game.
Wherever it came from, they were like it came from at least 700 meters away, which that's pretty that's far. So if someone did it from that far away, then this is like it's either something in the air, a satellite plane. This is coming from another country. Or most likely a bigger power than Serbia.
Big time, yeah, man, yeah. I just kind of threw this in the mix. This is my United States territories map, and I am aware that the word impress is misspelled. That's my signature move. Spelling things wrong is part of how I keep my copyrights. But yeah, this is a fun map. There's a lot of truth right here, folks. There is a lot of truth right here. It's going to be here long after I'm gone. But yeah, I just thought I'd keep this at hand for any of the weaves coming forward. And you know what? I want to hold on. I'm going to stop sharing because I want to share a comment I just saw. Man, this is something else. Here it is. Look at. Okay, I'm back. Look at this. Pollen.
Unfruitful.
Big respect. Big respect. That is a fascinating correspondence. Yeah, that's a
And
doozy.
you could take on fruitful in a certain number of ways too, if you take it to Genesis. And if you're maybe not partaking in the fruit, that's also, I don't know, which one is it?
Having no knowledge. Maybe. Wow.
Or
Good
having
call.
no sin.
Oh yeah. Yep. Let's see. Somebody else. Let's see. All right. Here's what's this?
I saw the Saturn
Yeah.
got 93 like Crowley, yeah. 69 like Society of Jesus. Yep.
Dang, Edward. Big respect.
Yeah, Saturn that 93 current was Crowley and his, what was it, the Golden Dawn or the OTO, whichever came after him. Their whole thing was the ultraviolet kind of energy that was going to come from beyond Saturn. The 93 current is what they called it, which they use the Aquarius symbol to show that current.
Yes.
This is what I was talking about with you the other day when I was mentioning ultraviolet.
Right. Ultraviolence.
Ultraviolet.
Just a touch of the ultraviolence.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So get back in the old archive here.
You know what's interesting? I just noticed that for some reason when I typed in Doge rehires before looking for the name of that guy, it just gave me a bunch of news articles, obviously on Doge, and there was something about CISA, and the thing says CISA fires, then rehires the old crew, but it has Doge mentioned, and then it has the DOJ mentioned, and I'm like, Doge just Doge? Is Doge the Doge? DOJ, DOGE, are they the same thing? Department of Justice?
Wow. Department of General Electric? GE is General Electric, maybe?
Well, no, because Doge is the government efficiency. That's supposed to be Elon's, but are they really just the Department of Justice?
Yeah. Because it's the phonetic.
And I mean, also General Electric, I'm sure, is involved with these guys because that's the Department of Energy, which are involved with everything.
Yeah. Trippy. I never even caught that one. I just love the fact that Chump doged the bullet. They literally ritualized the name of Doge in his assassination malarkey.
I mean, the Doge thing is crazy how it continues. The E-God, the dog, the E-dog. I mean, the serious connection, this dog connection that doesn't seem to want to go away.
Right. And even the word goad, like an ox goad is, it's on the adjustment card. They call it a lamed.
Lamed, yeah.
But a lamed is also an ox goad or a prod to keep the chattel moving along, keep them in line with your goad to goad them into
And
submission.
I think someone in the chat actually, Zephyr might have said that earlier. Zephyr of Voxel said, blame is lame, lamed, is lamed.
Yes. So here's my graphic from the show tonight. I just kind of threw this together. And these are the planetary placements presently. And I just wanted to kind of accentuate the 3, the 6, and the 9 of Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto.
Yeah, God, we are in Crowley season.
Big time. And then here. Okay. Actually, you know what? don't want to get into this just yet. Let's save this for a little bit later. But I've been tracking the Navaratri cycles, and this graphic is our most recent Navaratri that is coming online. Okay, sorry about that.
All good,
Just
all
as I
good.
say, as I say, coming online, I go offline. The day after the solar eclipse on the 29th is the last day before the next Navaratri sparks up. But we can get into that in a little bit.
It is on the 29th, huh? Not the 31st. I don't know why I was seeing people say it was the 31st. And I was like, did it move? Because I didn't think, because 31st is my birthday. I'm like, I didn't think it was on my birthday this year.
It did move. They've totally been moving
They've
around.
been bouncing them around, right? Yeah.
They've been bouncing them around, and it's really frustrating. They've turned the eclipses into moving targets, and it makes you a liar if you tell anybody what you think you knew, and then they go look it up, and they're like, "Hey, what are you talking about? That's not the date of the eclipse."
Yeah, where the hell's Tony Flamenco when we need him? Jesus Christ. He knows all about this stuff.
Yeah, man. Yes.
By the way, when I just looked up the Lamed, I just typed it in just because I wanted to see what came up. The first video that comes up has Oscar the Grouch. I think is it the blue guy? The blue guy. Which one's the blue guy? Is that Oscar the Grouch? I don't want to say the wrong one.
No, that is Grover.
Grover. Yep. Okay, there you go.
Totally. My Endless Road. Welcome to the party. I love the art on your tarot deck. I finally went through my mail. Cool. And who's this? I see a new person here. Yvonne, Vernay. What about the New Testament in Greek with Apollyon, White Horse, etc.? Oh, man. I don't know.
Gets real weird with Ammon.
Yeah.
With Ammon Hillman now with the New Testament in the the ancient Greek, which is the, what's the name of it again? Why am I forgetting?
Attic.
Is it Attic or is it?
There's Koine is common and Attic is High Greek.
Okay.
If that's what you mean. Yeah, I will say this, Yvonne. I love your name, by the way. Yvonne is one of my favorite names ever. The white horse, I interpret to be Pegasus proper. And Pegasus is also sometimes referred to as the Great Rectangle. And John McHugh has done an intensive, thorough breakdown of what is called the Pegasus Square. And in old Mesopotamian, they would commonly refer to this as the Garden of Eden, but they also called it the Great Stellar Tableau. And there, and so many times I see Pegasus representing paperwork. And the Greeks had a term called a page within a page. And that's the translation of what steganography is. And so while everybody sees what is on the surface level of what is presented, the first layer of presentational immediacy, if there's steganography within what is perceived on the first layer, those with the eyes can actually read more beyond what everybody else sees in the page. And so the Pegasus Square and the Great Stellar Tableau is all very correspondent to the white horse. And the dark horse, I believe, is Ursa Majora. And so I wanted to, share some of my thoughts around what the white horse is all about.
That stellar, that stellar tableau, is that something? Is that, you're saying this is a tablet?
Pretty much. It's like back when they, when everything was
I
chiseled in stone.
I think I came across this today. It's like a famous thing, almost like the Rosetta Stone, which I need to look more into Rossetti's still from last time.
Yeah.
I came across it today when I was doing that huge thing with JFK's wife.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just came up, that family, the Onassis family and their brethren all seem to be connected to all of it.
Do you want to go through some of those links that you sent to me and kind of dig into the Onassis stuff? Because I would love to Bill,
were you going to do anything next before? What were you going to do next?
I'll,
Did
I'll s-
I didn't
no,
want to cut you off from something.
no,
Just
that's
because.
fine. I'll save the last of my artistic
Okay.
works
All
for
right.
later on in the show.
Let me pull this up really fast.
My Cherie is here. My Cherie, so much love. So much love. Glad you made it. Glad you left Ken Wheeler to come over to my side of the YouTubes.
Okay.
And,
There we go.
apparently there's a bunch of government spending going on around sending Sesame Street to the Middle East, some country in the Middle East,
Really?
which makes me think I'm going to have to do with it. Yeah, they were
That
spending
was
millions.
in the what Doge supposedly uncovered where all this money's going, right? It was for
Yep,
a
you got it.
like some sort of trans or LGBTQ thing that was, I think, taught by the Sesame Street characters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep,
and also we have to remember a lot of that money, most of it is going to black projects and is money laundering and not being used for anything that it's being said to be used for. But the symbolism is still super interesting. I think Sesame Street. I sent you this story that Alan Watt, with no S, the one who died in 2021, his wife had covered after he died about this country music star or pop music. I can't remember if it was country or pop, but she used to perform on Sesame Street, but she always said she was Native American. And then
okay.
there was this huge controversy in 2022, 2023 in Canada because it turns out she was Italian from New Jersey,
Oh my,
pretending to be Native American.
oh my
And so
gosh,
but they were putting her on Sesame Street knowing this because the guy who was connected had found her and they just were lying about her
totally.
ethnicity, and now it's obviously an issue when it wasn't then. So it's
Right.
just interesting.
Man, that is wild. Well, very fascinating that the auto pen is like an open sesame. And here we're talking about Sesame Street. So maybe in the future, I'll do some tarot cards onto the Sesame Street characters. That would be pretty telling. I could probably overlap them right onto the Muppets too, you know?
Yeah, I mean, well, they're connected because the Muppets are in Sesame Street too. I think that's why I was so confused at first because I was like, wasn't it Sesame Street? But then Jim Henson was working on both.
Oh, right. Totally.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Same
All
creator.
right. So seeing that, I had never, for some reason, I had just, that's why it's Jackie O, obviously. For some reason, my consciousness just never really cared about that. But because all this stuff came out, I figured I'd take a look at it. And then I was like, well, who's the guy she got the name from? Was she born that? No, she wasn't. She's born Le Beauvais, which sounds French, I'm assuming. So there's
Mhm.
that French connection again, which Gene Hackman, the French connection. It's all connected. Obviously, it's really weird.
Big
But you
time.
go to Aristotle over here, and he's got the whole Greek, the whole Greek pantheon within his family. Like he got his son Alexander, we got Athena, we have Jesus, we have you could keep looking because there's tons of them. But basically, this is where it gets weird. So he owns Olympic Airways. He owns he owns a bunch of airways. Let's put it that way, and he
Hmm.
leaves it to his son Alexander, who doesn't like Jackie O. She doesn't like her at all. Doesn't like them hanging out. Doesn't like them getting married. Apparently, there's family tensions. You could see this when the widow of John F. Kennedy marries her father. Basically, him and his sister are really upset. And within, I don't even know if it's a year of this, was it 67 and 68? He dies in 73.
Whoa.
So
Wow.
he dies within a few years of this happening on runway 33 and at the Hellenicon International Airport. So this is the Hellenistic invasion all over again. This is at least the story of how he dies. He dies from his injuries
Yes.
from this plane thing. And there's people on the flight, Donald McCusker, and there's another Donald McGregor. We just had McGregor in office saying he's running for president of Ireland, which I thought was bizarre too, at the
Big
same time of them releasing this. And this guy, Stavros Niarchos, he comes up again. He's a huge sea merchant who had a shipping thing, and he also was in the, I guess it would be plane companies, or what would you
Yeah.
call that?
An
Like
airline
aero design, and
magnate.
yeah.
Yeah. Check this out, Chris. Marge Simpson's maiden name is Bouvier.
Wow.
Big
Oh,
love, Maceo
okay.
Gabbard.
Okay.
Big love.
So there's more with this, because then we go to his sister, the other one who didn't like what was going on, and she dies 88 at age 37.
Oh man, that's a
So
big
she,
Enneagram
in her,
number.
and she's found in her bathtub of a mansion. Which, how many times have we? This is like a calling card.
Yep.
And you
Yep.
see all this raised in Switzerland. All these people are being raised by the Swiss somehow. And she leaves the whole estate, which includes this island, the island of
Yeah.
Scorpios, to her last, or the last heir, which is, her name is Athena Onassis. And she doesn't even like the Onassis family. She actually has a problem with them because her great grandfather is that other guy, Niachos. And they
Yeah.
apparently had this huge feud. I think
Wow.
she permit, but then she takes the last name again, and look at her middle name. We have the Hellenistic invasion. We have Onassis, and I think she just took the last name probably to get the heir that she was the stuff her father and grandfather left her.
The inheritance.
The
Yeah.
inheritance, yeah.
Yeah. And isn't so Athena's name means wisdom. And one of the mafioso street terms for the inner clique, they call each other wise guys. They're wise
Yes.
guys. And so she was maybe too wise to.
Well, it's interesting too because the wise guys are also if you're an Italian wise guy, you're not a full blood Italian usually. You're half and half,
Really?
or yeah, because if you're a wise guy if you can't be a made man.
Wow. So that wise guy is kind of like the term Cohen for the Masons. There's like, it kind of depends on what side of the clique you associate with, but some Masons, the word Cohen is an insult. It's like what they call, it's a pejorative for wannabe Masons. That
Yeah.
they can't make it in. But there are some circles of secret societies who the Cohen is the only person allowed to administer the ceremonies. So some of these words are like, it means one thing to one clique and something the exact opposite to the other clique.
Exactly. And
That's
I mean,
cool.
it fits perfectly with Athena because she's half and half. She's not a full blood Onassis. She's
Yes.
related to this guy, Niarchos, who they don't really like. And I think, what am I looking for here? Was this? Oh yeah, this I thought was interesting because so Aristotle, again going back to her father, this is back to the son. He wanted to have him cryogenically frozen apparently, and he was saying that the government killed his son. Like that's basically what he was saying. He thought it was the CIA. You can see here, blames the CIA or the Greek military, which this guy Patapoulos, he's actually part of the Golden Dawn, which isn't an occult association. It's apparently this is more like a government type of political party, I think, in Greece.
Okay.
And it's
Papadopoulos.
yeah, it's bizarre. Here, I'll pull it up. If it's share this tab instead, there we go. So
that word Papadopoulos kind of in my ear it rhymes with the Pope's twin. Papa
double.
double. It's the
Yeah.
Pope's twin.
Yeah, and I believe Papadopoulos is connected to the Niachos guy, and these are guys who are kind of, I think, in a struggle with what's the other guy's name who was left in charge? Paul Ioannidis is what the other guy's name was, who was in charge of this inheritance that Athena was supposed to get. So there's like this struggle that goes on between these guys. But this double pope guy this is the Golden Dawn Association he has, which is a popular association in the Greek. And if you see, this is their symbol, which looks very like basically an undue swastika. And this is the color of it that I was referring to before.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And you know what else? I think that's kind of commonplace in Greek art, that they have the spirals. Sometimes it'll be round like waves spiraling, but sometimes it's blocked out like that around the trim of their art.
Yeah, yeah. And so these guys get I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. I didn't go through it all. It seems like they're pretty mainstream. They're connected either to extremist groups but some of these guys seem very mainstream politician, like in the whole Greece political scene. So I'm not really sure how popular they are. They seem very popular.
Totally.
Yeah. So there's that. All right. After that, I think, let's see, where did I go from there? So this was the other guy I mentioned. Let's see if this pops up. This is Paul Ioannidis. He's the one who gets control eventually of Athena's inheritance. And look at this. He's a pilot in the Royal Air Force and the Royal Hellenic Air Force. And he also takes over, he's employed by TAE, which is basically like the same organization originally owned by Onassis, then given to it's the largest Greek airline organization that's left. It's all of them. It's like the whole conglomerate put together.
Right. It's the spider that ate the fly, so to say.
I thought this was interesting. See, he acquired it from Olympic Airways from Onassis because they were friends. It's interesting that they call Olympic Airways OA because of the show, the OA, but I haven't really found anything yet that connects the two. But it's interesting that he's involved in aviation safety and the risk of human error, because this is how JFK is said to have gone down, or after JFK Jr. is supposed to go down.
Yes. Yeah.
So and same thing I think was happening with the other son, Alexander, the son of Aristotle Onassis.
Yes.
There's all this human error going on. That's why he apparently gets involved. But it's almost like, are they setting up these accidents, or are they fake accidents? Are they real? Are they doing it on purpose? Is it like is it not really an accident? I don't really know what the hell's going on.
Right. Well, I want to point out how the name Boeing is predicting its downfall, because it's actually an onomatopoeia for when something breaks. Boing.
Yeah. And dude, the craziest thing is that a lot of their aircraft are called amphibious aircraft, which is what we mentioned.
The frogs.
Yeah, the frogs. And they are all connected to shipping companies. So they're you see the Union of Greek Ship Owners is mentioned here. They all own these huge shipping companies, but they're also airliner owners and airline company owners. So it's like land, air, sea. I mean, we basically have them running the whole entire Hellenic empire. Entirely the Hellenic Empire. It's a Hellean invasion, y'all. It's a Hellean invasion. Chris, I have this theory that when they named Hamas that name, it was actually seeding the consciousness of the oblivious with a craving for hummus. And so while everybody's like, oh, I hate Hamas, we got to stop Hamas. But meanwhile, in their subconscious, they're like, man, what place in the world has the best hummus ever? Oh, it's Greece. I'm going to go on a vacation to Greece, because they've been saying hummus 5, 6, 18 times a day for years now. Yeah, no, that is the power of the language that we've inherited.
Yes. And
speaking of that, I didn't know JFK Jr. starred in something called Altered States. That was apparently his biggest acting role while he was alive.
Wait, which Kennedy is that?
So this is JFK Jr. One of his biggest acting role was an episode on Murphy Brown called Altered States.
Damn. That there is an altar constellation um, that's very significant, and its geometric form is the shape of the Enneagram. If you take the R Altair constellation, you kind of turn it upside down a certain way, and then you flip it back and forth, and you trace it, it makes the shape of the Enneagram, the R Altair constellation. That's intense.
Yeah, that is definitely wild. And I guarantee if we started tracing out some of these events, we would get something similar to this.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
So now to just finish off what I had this, I know I'm like kind of rambling through this because these are just really loose connections right now. Basically the JFK crash, which I went back, JFK Jr. crash, which I went back to.
Yep.
So he flies out of New Jersey apparently, and he's going to Martha's Vineyard. Now I didn't mention this, but I think it was Ionitis. He owned a airport in New Jersey. So that's just keep that in mind that he's coming from this private airport in New Jersey, and he's going to a private airport on Martha's Vineyard when he crashes.
Guess who drove him there? Who drove him to the airport?
Oh, wait, I know this, but I can't remember. Tell me who.
Go back to the last screen. I think it's right on there. President Bill Clinton gave his support to the family for the 3 missing passengers. I think Clinton might have drove him there. I think.
Well, this is interesting. Bassett, like Annie, but like Bassant. That's close, but not totally a Bassant. Just made me think of Bassant.
Yeah, it makes me think of beset on all sides by the iniquity.
Yeah. But so just from this, the last thing I had done is I was looking at the plane because I wanted to see if the plane he had crashed in was owned by one of these companies, because it was basically the Piper Saratoga. This is the plane. And when I went to Piper Aircraft, wasn't one of the companies that owned it. It is the government of Brunei. I'm not sure how exactly this is pronounced. I would say it's probably Brunei. But this is what I thought was super interesting here.
Yeah. That is a trip.
They have a national philosophy known as MIB, or Malayu Islam Baraja, like the Men in Black.
What in the holy
and if you go to this state, like just look at where it is too. And they've been under it's like an emergency, like basically emergency declaration that was put in place in like the 50s, I think. I mean, forever. It's been forever. They've just been under emergency powers forever.
Wow.
So they could do whatever they want there. And this is weird too. So
big love, Jay.
There's the name of Brunei. Look at this. Brunei Darussalam. Like Jerusalem?
Yeah. Big time.
Because if you look at the language, Malay, there's also, where is it? Now I'm going to forget what it's called. It's either Jiwa or Jitwa, which is official language Malay, Jawi.
Dang, dude. Just like the Jawas.
And Jawi is I think that's stone. The stone actually came across might have been in Jawi.
Okay. Dude, there's something about this. Oh, is that their language? Is that what
this is? This is part of the script, I think, still in use from the Jawi.
Dude, I see a Fehu right there. That's totally a Fehu. The F shaped is the first letter in the Norse runes.
Yeah, this right here.
Yep, you got it. And
I mean, this reminds me of Wadjet.
Yep, big time. Wow, what a fascinating writing system. And do you get the creepiest vibes out of that flag? Like there's something about that flag that just looks aggressively.
Yeah, the yellow one or the other one? This one?
That one, yeah. You know what? It's the rebel forces from Star Wars.
It's also the Steel Pittsburgh's got the Steelers colors too, like with the yellow, the gold, black and white. So there's Steelers and
Yeah.
with this weird ass logo on the front of it that's like a mix of it almost looks like a rod of Asclepius, but it's not that, with the wings in the center and the crescent moon and the hands.
Wow.
But this is a maritime state as well.
Yeah.
So
And
I think the person who found this place, that was the one last thing I had found. Let me see if I could find the quote.
okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, here it is. So we arrived at Borneo, which is distant from Malok, which I thought was weird, about 200 miles, 300 kilometers, and we found that it was somewhat larger than the aforesaid and much lower. The people are pagans and are men of goodwill. Their color is whiter than that of the other sort. In this island, justice is well administered. So Saturn is well administered here, and this was Ludovico di Varthema, who I believe was, you can connect them to the Spanish, I'm sure. And you see race or rice, which I thought was weird there.
Wow, man. What a crazy quote. What a crazy quote.
Yeah. And so this, and I'm trying to I'm like, so where does this connect back to the Greeks, to the Greece, the
Yeah.
area of Greece, the Greeks, where is it? And it's more like it's all connecting almost to the Hebrew, but it's not the actual Hebrew. It's like an Arabic form of the Hebrew, which I'm sure Ronan would love to come on and yell at me about for not knowing more about right now.
Big love, Ronan. Big love.
But let me
Wow,
stop
man.
sharing that there.
Wow. That is so far out. That is so far out. So those islands are highly volcanic, right? Like all through Java and between Australia and India. And I'm not sure. I think Krakatoa is a little off the map. It's not. I don't think it's right in that run. I think it's a little east of that location. But yeah, we could say that there's a lot of volcanic worship integral to the people of the earth around that region of the world.
And that's
And
right. It's right above Australia, kind of. It looks like where that is.
yes, yes, and I highly recommend folks check out Sigmund Freud's probably more I shouldn't say that. One of his controversial works is Moses and Monotheism, where he makes a really good case that some of the ancient Israel Hebrew Jews were actually worshiping the volcano.
Oh wait, I gotta share this again.
And the case he makes for Yahweh being considered a volcano god is spot on, and it's so edifying. And it even comes down to like the word lava. When we lava each other, lava is an eruption. I was thinking about the word uh, erection and eruption,
Mm-hmm.
an erection and an eruption. And that's how, in all the rare earth minerals and unseen new territory, new land, virgin land is birthed out of volcanic areas.
Yeah,
So
he's
yeah,
definitely a volcanic god or god of the mountain.
yes, big
Yeah,
time.
yeah, absolutely. And this is one other thing I forgot to mention was that so according to the IMF, really want to know how to pronounce this. It's really pissing me off. What do you think? Is it Brunei?
Let's go Brunei. I like
All right.
Brunei. It's like
Brunei is ranked 9th in the world by gross domestic capita. So it's like, what? That's
whoa,
that's huge.
that's
And then they're
huge.
also a member of the United Nations, World Trade Organization, East Asia Summit, Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the Non-Aligned Movement, Commonwealth of Nations, which is an interesting symbol, and ASEAN, that looks like the parachutes that were
That
going
totally
off.
looks like parachute, dude. Whoa, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so
So
nine
that's just wanted to
number.
bring that up too.
Yeah, man. Hold on. Let's. Will you go back up to with that one of the first images in? Let me see. Will you pull up? Hit the ranked ninth in the world. Oh, Yeah, that one actually. Yeah, is that a cube in the center?
It is. It is. That's because this is the Islamic corporation. So you have the crescent moon, the Earth field, and then the cube in the center, or the
Mecca.
the hypercube in the center. Yeah.
Yeah, Mecca, and I just love pointing out everybody's like, Saturn and the Tephilim and the Mecca, but I just love pointing out even in the Christians they worship the book, and the word book in reverse is the word cube.
Yep. Yeah, and this is oh yeah, so the Human Development Index ranks very high as well. So it's almost like, is this
What?
the area? Because you have to think, forget about the Islam thing, forget
Right.
it, because it doesn't matter. Because what do the Masons all pledge their hand on before being initiated? The Quran. So
Yep.
this could be totally just a free for all country that these elite people go to, these very rich billionaire people who socially engineer the world go to if they need a place to go. I mean, there's tons of islands in this area as well that are just undocumented.
Wow.
So same. I mean, same with the Greek era, the area in Greece. I mean, there's tons of islands out there, obviously.
So much, yes. And what we think of as laws are something totally different on islands. They are operating on a totally different plane of reality when it comes to what we call laws on these islands. So I want to share that island you pulled up that was
Yeah, Scorpios.
Scorpios. Thank you. So I've been following a YouTube channel that I highly recommend. I think his channel name is just Synchromistic.
Synchromistic.
Yep.
I feel like I'm probably follow this channel.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He was on the Higher Side Chats about a month back or so. And so I've been kind of combing through his archives, and he is so organized. It's a heavy hitting information download every video he puts out. And he has one video that I really enjoyed that was about the Mediterranean islands. And I think he lists like 10 mysteries around 10 different islands of the Mediterranean. And I'm pretty sure it's in that video that he hints towards this amazing conspiracy theory that what's his name? Hugh Hefner. No,
No,
not
Hughes. You're thinking
Hughes.
of
Howard.
the huge.
Howard Hughes.
Yeah, Howard Hughes.
Howard
That's-
Hughes. Yes, that Howard Hughes was actually for maybe the last 20 years of what we think of as his lifetime, that he had been kidnapped and drugged and kept hostage on that island.
Mhm.
And so the Howard Hughes empire was on puppet strings for the last 20 years of what we know of his biography. And
I think in the conspiracy, because this is what I had heard today when I just came across this whole thing, was that they switched him out with a double, which actually that gets back to the double that we were just talking about.
it is so wild what they've been up to for so long. Like, we're looking back to the 60s and the 70s and being like, that sounds like some futuristic shit. Just imagine what they can do today. So I was doing a little analysis on the Howard Hughes as I see his biography embedded into the Incredible Hulk from the Marvel Avengers. And part of that is that the Incredible Hulk was he goes through an extreme agoraphobia where he locks himself away and he doesn't want to go out into the world.
And luckily, I know a little bit about Howard Hughes, so keep going. But I can actually add to. I don't know much about this conspiracy, but I do know a little bit about Howard Hughes.
Okay.
Ironically,
okay.
So, but go on.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, man. So yeah, seeing Howard Hughes is correspondent to the Incredible Hulk. Well, this card is generally in the Rider-Waite. It's called the Strength card. And the Incredible Hulk's password to turn on the airplane was Strongest Avenger, which made Thor jealous. So yeah, the Incredible Hulk is totally this card right here. And the crazy part is I didn't see this coming, but the new Hulk is red. He's the Red Hulk. And so he's
Mhm.
actually comporting to the colors of this card even more, almost like a transfer from the Rider-Waite into the paradigm of the Thoth deck. And so, yeah. And then as I was doing that, my own video on my own channel, I kept misspeaking and I kept saying Hugh Hefner. I kept saying Hugh Hefner.
He's
And then,
connected to Hugh Hefner, just so you know.
dude, I didn't even know that because in my own video, I kind of like start thinking and I'm like, wait, okay, Hugh Hefner, Howard Hughes, you know,
HH.
H and H. And then I'm looking at this card and I'm like, this is the lust card. And I was putting it in the number 5 observer position for being self-absorbed or keeping to themselves, being greedy. And I'm like, wait a second, it's called lust. Hugh Hefner was, running the Playboy bunnies. And I'm like, wow, they're more egregorically entangled than I ever knew. And now you're telling me that there's more to that.
There is a whole thing with the Hughes estate and underground tunnels, just like we have going into the. I think the Playboy Mansion actually is built eventually on the same estate that Howard Hughes lived on. Like this whole land. He had a bunch of land, family inherited. Eventually, I think they either sell it to Hefner or he gets a piece
Dude,
of it.
this is Jessica Rabbit. Look at her hair. It's actually 2 long bunny ears.
There you go.
She could actually be rocking. This could be like Jessica and Roger's child. It could be
Yeah.
their Horror Babylon love child because she has her hair could be
Oh wow.
construed as bunny ears.
Dude, that card even connects now. Now that I'm looking at it, it seems like it connects to the whole pyramid thing that just happened with her holding that cup. It's like above ground, and then you have this tunnel that's coming underground, which the tunnels obviously connect to Hughes and connect to Hackman.
Wow, wow. What are we
And
on?
and
What are we on?
Ken Wheeler was saying, because you could even see in that on the card that you just held up, that this meant the pyramids would have been giving off an auric glow. So above her cup, that's kind of like the pyramid of the green auric glow.
All right, folks. Who needs drugs? Who needs drugs? Who needs drugs, y'all? Okay, we're about to take this to the next level because that totally presages some of the final images that I put together for tonight's show. What did we just do, Chris? What did we just do? We just found Jessica Rabbit, Hugh Hefner, and Howard Hughes all packed into this. This card is the Joe Rogan studio, by the way.
Oh, jeez.
The entire motif of his studio is this card as well.
And I mean, it makes sense because Hughes was also in Hollywood. I mean, he was a big Hollywood guy, and he couldn't take his movies being bad. He didn't like that they were failing or they weren't popular.
Wow, look at this one. Robert Houdini anagrams to Brunei Hot Rod, which is significant per once Sultan of Brunei's dilapidated, most expensive auto collection in the world.
Yeah, wow.
Dude, you know what? I really do think, I was on with Zarelath a long time ago, maybe one of my first shows with Zarelath. I was talking about double masticated Nephilim. They have 2 rows of teeth. I think that what that actually signifies is there are people who are trained in anagrams to such a degree that they see it firsthand. They don't have to sit down and take notes and scramble and mix it around. I think the anagram game is, I think they're trained in it on a level that would impress us. I think you could learn anagrams from a young age, and you could read things right under everybody else's nose. I think that's what the double mastication of the Nephilim really means.
I think I agree with that. And by the way, someone just said that there was a hotel in New Jersey. Oh, okay. So the Playboy Hotel's in New Jersey and the mansion's out here. That's interesting because New Jersey seems to keep coming up.
Yes, yes. And I think we decided we're somewhat sure that that's where Crowley's buried.
In New Jersey? Oh, yeah. You told me that. You told me
Maybe,
that.
I might be wrong. I might be misinforming. There might be some dismal information.
By the way, there's a film Howard Hughes did. I think it might have been his last one, or at least well close to one of his last one. Ice Station Zebra,
Oh,
and this was
whoa.
based, I think, on an actual operation that happened,
That's
supposedly.
a trip. That's a trip.
Yeah,
You
it's a
know,
whole nother rabbit hole.
it is another rabbit hole. I got to say, like, I got a thing for zebras. I've had a thing
I
for
know.
zebras for 20 damn years. And then I actually, in my own path, have discovered a very deep spiritual relationship to the zebra. And then I find out that Philip K. Dick had a whole shtick about the zebra and the archons of the universe, which kind of offends me because, like, I found this on my own. I didn't even read Philip K. Dick,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
apparently he agrees that the zebra is a very uh, highly potent totem. I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so let's go back into the. Let's see here. Let me share this one. James just left. There's a legend. New Jersey was a part of the continent of Atlantis, as like Ireland. Huh. That is interesting. That would actually that would make sense why it keeps popping up in this deluge of information age. Um, okay, so I'm going to go back into my graphics, and we're going to ease our way back around to the pyramid story that is sprung on us most recently in this spring equinox season. Let's see. Here we go. All right. So I've been tracking the Navaratri for officially for about a year now, and it was at last year's Navaratri was the Great American Eclipse. And if anybody cares to go back through the Slick Dissident data, the video that I made, it is actually called the words "school is in session," but it's spelled backwards. And in that video, it's a very short video. I'm actually doing Odin on Yggdrasil inversion at the totality of the eclipse. And I invite everybody to listen very closely. I believe, as I was approaching the clearing to observe the totality, something huge shuffled through the reeds and kind of scuffled off into the away from me. But it didn't go far. It just went to the extent that I wouldn't see it as well, and I could see the reeds shaking. But not only that, the ground shook. Like whatever it was thudding on the ground, not like a deer. And then while I'm doing my inversion at totality, something calls out from that exact direction, from the exact location, from the exact distance of whatever that big critter was. And I'm going to claim that it's a Sasquatch. I caught me a Sasquatch chirp at the totality of the eclipse. And so I very much invite everybody to go check that video out. I was at Ground Zero at Carbondale, Illinois, at the big moment of the X marks the spot on the territories map. And so we are officially at 365 days away from that time of year. And here we are kicking off the next Navaratri. And I am learning that the Navaratris are harmonizing to eclipses. And so when this next solar eclipse kicks off, the day after is the beginning of Navaratri. And so these 9 Devis are always in the exact same order, 1 through 9, but they oftentimes do a little bit of dance with the dates. That is to say, sometimes they'll conjoin 2 Devis, like you and I did our show, right, Chris? Where it was the 6th and the 5th Devi were converged.
Mm-hmm.
And that was during the winter Mahagupta Navaratri. Well, now we're in the spring publicly known Navaratri ritual. And so I haven't sussed out if they're doing any converging of days or doubling on any of the Devis. Sometimes they'll give like in the summer Mahagupta Navaratri, they gave the fourth Devi 2 days of celebration for some reason. And then it was on the seventh Devi here. You can see my mouse, right?
Yeah. Can you put down the comments? I think just so people can see it. I don't know if
thank
they're
you.
being blocked. Yeah.
No, thank you. That is a great call. I'm totally.
There
Yep.
you go.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Total newbie mistake. Okay.
It's all
Yes.
good.
So yes, during the summer, Mahagupta means hidden. So the summer and the winter Navaratris are both hidden. They're called Mahagupta, means hidden. Actually, Gupta means hidden. And Maha means make America healthy again, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's been coming up so much in the Indian Hindu religion.
Yes. So it was during the summer Mahagupta Navaratri that, if you can see my mouse, that on the seventh day of that Navaratri was when Trump got the ear castrated event.
Yep.
And it's so powerful to know this truth because this Devi is called Kaalratri. And her Greek counterpart is called Calliope. And what is really trippy, I'm just going to put it on blast. I don't even care. Ammon Hillman's principal acolyte, his name is Snappy. He is the spitting image of Calliope. He looks exactly like Calliope. It's alarming how perfectly he looks like many of the paintings of Calliope. And he's got a hard on for the muses, or maybe he's got a little hard on for the muses. But anyway.
Yeah, we don't really know yet.
Well, who knows? But anyway, the Chump Ear Castrated event happens on the Kaalratri day, and she is responsible for natural disasters, calamity. She's the most violent of all the Devis, and she's riding on an ass. The ear castrated event took place in Cancer. The Cancer constellation has 2 donkey, maybe nebulas.
So we have the assassins. We have Onassis.
Yeah, on asses. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's prophecy about the nihilists will ride in on donkeys. That's also kind of correspondent to, and then the nihilists are obsessed with always questioning everything. I myself have a bit of a nihilistic bend in that I get much gratification out of questioning everything forever. Well, Kalratri is wielding a big fat question mark. The shape of Kalratri's sickle or scythe or whatever this is in the shape of a question mark. And Socrates is in the 7th position in the symposium, and he is the grand poobah of asking questions. All he knows is he knows nothing, and all he does is ask questions. The Socratic method is indicated by this gigantic question mark. So yeah, sure enough, I'm tracking the Navaratri dates, and we got another one coming up pretty soon. But these are some of the graphics I wanted to share with everybody. Chris, did you see the spokesperson for the discovery under the Sphinx?
I think I saw one of the guys. I didn't know. I don't know if I saw the main one or not.
Okay.
But did you?
Yeah. Well, apparently there's quite a list of characters, but one of the public relations team is this woman over here behind the pyramids.
Oh, I didn't see any women. I had only seen a few of the guys that were mentioned because I've got most of the news from the clowns at Mysterious Universe, who I really like.
Totally. Actually, I think that's where I got this graphic. I think they mentioned.
Okay. Yeah, I might have missed it because I only listened to a little bit of it, and then I have Ken Wheeler was the other one who I listened to about it.
Oh yeah, Ken Wheeler's blowing up right now. I bet he's having.
He confirmed it. He said that if this would be the only thing that makes the pyramids make sense.
Oh my goodness.
So
I bet Ken Wheeler's chat is off the chain right now. That's
yeah,
yeah, that makes sense. So I just want to point out that the Sphinx is integral to riddles. And so when I hear the word Sphinx, I think of riddles, but I also happen to know that the word chimera, which the Sphinx is a chimera, where the word chimera is an anagram for America and many other things.
hmm
So yeah, the riddle of the Sphinx just keeps on keeping on. It's the gift that keeps on giving. But this picture of her with her tatas, occulted tatas by the pyramids here, they just happen to have a palm tree off on the in the periphery. And
You know what
so,
I was just going to mention? Palm Sunday and the arrival of Christ on the donkey.
whoa,
When you were mentioning the donkeys,
whoa! When is Palm Sunday?
wow, I'm horrible that I grew up going to Catholic school for the
Do you just
majority of my life, and I can't remember. I mean, it should be soon, right?
in the spring? Maybe the chat can help us out. When is Palm Sunday, chat? So yeah, her picture has the palm tree. The palm tree is actually the phylum of the phoenix. In the scientific name.
April 13th,
Oh, geez. Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
413 this year, not
Hold
every
on.
year.
Okay, so it's 6 days or so after Navaratri. Okay, that's
Last
pretty.
year was the 28th. Or no, it was the 24th here, 28th in Eastern, which is weird. It's the 13th in both the Western and Eastern this year. I don't know if that's
Okay,
happens often. Seems
okay.
like it's only one at least in the last 5 years where it's the same
Oh,
date. So two 13s.
wow. Okay, very interesting. So yeah, I just have to point out that it is the springtime and the depiction of these
Spring.
structures.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is kind of a side subject, but over the next week or so, we are being bombarded by the the waves coming off of a newborn star. The Blaze star is being instilled onto the map just next to the Corona Borealis constellation. And so I just wanted to make a note of this, that the Northern Crown has a new jewel on the crown. And the waves from that nebula, allegedly, are banging down on Earth pretty heavily right now. And that's sometimes called the TCRB. So there's the T crab. But yeah, this is going to be increasingly significant because, these astronomer priests, they always have to ritualize the arrival of these changes in the heavens.
Yeah. And this is apparently every 80 years, right? This happens, I think.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point. So yeah, the Corona Borealis is right next to Boötes. I think Corona Borealis is the actual shape of the what we think of the Libra symbol. I don't think the Libra symbol is indicating the Libra constellation at all. It looks nothing like it in my eyes. It looks way more like Corona Borealis, which is a rounded out, it's like an apple that somebody took a bite out of,
hmm
or a pomegranate that somebody opened up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
dude.
and I also see the Corona Borealis. If Boötes is Hades, the great void of Boötes, if that is Hades, then the Corona Borealis is his bident. And in some Native American traditions, they call Corona Borealis the bear den. Their name for this constellation is the bear den. So yeah, this is so significant and going underappreciated, I think. So I just wanted to share it with everybody.
And that before when we had mentioned Anubis connecting to Sirius,
Mm.
I know this connects to Scorpio in a way as well.
Yeah,
And
it's very close.
I want to say because also at the end of IPECO 2, the last scene, you see the Anubis head of the ship as he's going past the pyramids, which is the pyramids are in Scorpio, and the one gets destroyed, or they all get destroyed, I think, by a meteor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Here when I take down the share screen, everything we just said is actually completely aligns in the stars. Like Corona Borealis is the top, right under it is Serpens, under that is Libra, and under Libra is Scorpius, and then under Scorpius is the Lupus, the wolf. So
There we
yeah,
go. Yeah.
it totally aligns in the heavens. And let's see. Here we go. This is what I wanted to share with everybody.
Yeah, this is interesting.
So the Tesseract kind of blew my mind when I was like, oh, look at the little images they're sending us. They've got little Tesseracts down there. And I was like, well, wait a second. These are just like a Jack in the Box. But then big love to Rock Castaldo out there. He did a episode tonight where he mentioned the spring coils of these alleged structures look so much like what they tell us what they used to tell us viruses look like. Somehow viruses stopped looking like spiders and turned into boogers somewhere recently.
Yeah, those look like I remember that those are the nanomachines, they say, are inside everyone's body already.
Totally.
Those little spiders, which matches with Steiner's idea of these electric spiders that are going to be everywhere.
Right. What was that movie from the 80s with Magnum PI, where there's a bunch of robots with injecting needles?
Oh.
Ooh, if the chat can remember, I can't even remember the actor's name, but he was going up against little spiders with spider machines with needles.
Was it Tom Selleck?
Thank you. Yes. So here's another image of the Tesseract virus suggestion, right? They're suggesting the shapes of these things.
And what's interesting? I feel like when they did the whole, and there's the cube, but when they did the whole Seattle, it was like a New Year's projection on the Seattle UFO tower. I forget what that's called, what the tower out there is called. They projected a lot of images on it that almost look exactly like what you're showing there.
Wow. So powerful that it's like they're just inviting people to succumb. They're inviting people to succumb. And then here, this is my grand this is the grand image that I'm super excited to share with everybody. So Moana is totally the number 6 in the Enneagram, loyalist with the shadow of anxiety or doubt. And in the endocrine system, she would represent estrogen. The word estrogen means almond shape. And she has this, it also has to do with the amygdala. This number, all these are number 6 on my Enneagram. And so she's fulfilling the essence of the amygdala with her almond-shaped paddle and her almond-shaped eyes. And then number 7 is testosterone. Well, Maui is tattooed strong. He's tattooed and he's strong. He's testosterone. And so the number 7 personality type, or the number 7 Davy, is Navaratri, holding that sickle just like Maui does. And so this is an image of the moon, of the stars. When the moon is on the 7th day of Navaratri, it lines up exactly with Cancer. And the whole chump ear castrated event was Chariot card, which is the only tarot card for Cancer. And so again, we're coming around to the 7th day of Navaratri, and the moon is going to be passing over Mars in Cancer, echoing the ear castrated event. So, and this is the sequence. I'm actually following the moon through the 9 days. So you see my mouse, Shalputri is the first one. The moon will be in this area on the first day. Then the moon will move to Brahmakarini. Then it moves to Chandraghanta, then it moves to Kushmanda, and then it moves to Skandamata, then Katyayani, and then Kalaratri on day 7. And then it finishes off the last 2 days of Mahagari and Siddharthari. on the last day.
That Siddhatri reminds me of that, what we were just looking at, that symbol with the hands and the,
Holy crap.
from the MIB thing, the Bernoy or Bernai. Jesus, I can't remember.
Dude, okay, I'm all over that. I was thinking when I saw those hands about like kind of like maybe it represents capital punishment, and like this is the land where we chop the hands off of thieves, maybe.
Oh, yeah. No, probably that too.
Yeah.
By the way, I got to give a 6-minute warning. I got to take her to work and
Totally. Yeah, buddy. Big ups, man. That was a power drop. That was so much information.
there's so much we need to do. We need to come back and probably clean it up later if we can. Yeah. There's a lot there, and I apologize for being scattered in my presentation part of it.
Dude, that's the only way we can get all of this out there. You know what I mean? It's just all about the data dump and let the people sort it out, weave it into their own cork boards.
Isn't Maui connected to Melee too?
I think so. Yep. Yep. Yeah, because Calliope is responsible for natural disasters, much like Maui is, a demigod of the elements.
Yeah.
But he's testosterone, Maui. So fascinating.
It's interesting you mentioned Tom Selleck too, because when I looked him up, his wife's name was Jackie.
Oh my gosh.
We could just keep going. It's like all.
I love it.
Man.
I love it. Big love and respect, everybody.
Thank you, Paul. Oh, and thank you. Someone mentioned that it was the Space Needle, so obviously it connects perfect. Lucy, thank you.
Oh, nice. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Big respect to the chat. Much love, Star Dustin 369. Yeah, good name.
Yeah.
Big love to Lucy Rose, Paula D. And then here I see Edward.
Pele.
Yeah. Oh, Pele. Yeah. Fascinating. All right, y'all. We're gonna let Chris get to it. He's got other things to do today. He's still got a couple hours in his night.
Yeah, and then I'll be in New Jersey from Tuesday to Sunday, and then I'll be back around. So if I don't catch you before then, let's get together when I get back.
All right, buddy. Yeah, you know what? If you have free time in Jersey, go take a picture of wherever the hell they buried Crowley's ashes.
Yeah. I gotta. I mean, Jersey's way bigger than people think, but if it's near me, absolutely. And I would almost guarantee it will be, because I'm right by Menlo Park and Edison, where they say Thomas Edison was for a little while, which he wasn't there long.
Wow, dude, you should do a ceremonial drink of absinthe and go out at night and take a piss on that grave, dude. Yeah. Take a piss on that grave. I don't know if that would be blasphemous or not. That might be complimentary.
Yeah, he might like it too much.
Totally. All right, y'all. Big love and respect. Thank you for joining us on this Dissident Shared Artistic Expression.
Thank you, everyone. It was good being with you, brother. It's good being with you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining. Much love and respect, y'all.
Absolutely.
Peace out.
Later.